Yeah, what about comic artists? Are there any new up-and-coming Filipino artists that you've been watching out for, anything like that?
Oh,
Comics, yeah.
there's a ton of them. I mean, there's a lot of them from Canada, like Francis Manabat. Yeah, I mean, he started just as a pencil. Now I think they're even letting him write now
He's
too.
doing Flash right now.
Yeah, and he's
I
color
interviewed him
painting it
last
and
year,
everything.
actually,
Yeah, you know, that's actually kind of the interesting thing. I mean, I did bring in a lot of people from the Philippines, but then when I came back here, it was really cool seeing all these people, like Talent, Francis, and then there were a lot of like the Mikos and the Carlos, Miko Suan, Carlo Pangaluya, and it's almost natural now. You know, there's so many Filipinos now that almost when you say you're Filipino, it's they expect kayang-kaya mo.
Yeah.
You know, that you're good already. In fact, that's one of my rants about the Philippine.
Work ethic.
Yeah, again, you know, I understand from studying it why and how that happens. That, you know, we're more polarized than we are when we are together. In fact, I remember when I was in the Philippines, 1995 to 2000, I was speaking to a lot of, let's just say, show business types, top level, middle level, low level, and trying to get them to do a definitive Lapu-Lapu story. And in Manila, in 1995 to 2000, the response I always got was that, oh, it's budoy. It's just people in diapers.
Yeah.
You know, and most people aren't really interested in that. It has to be a modern story. Now you look and there's Amaya, there's all these teleseries specifically about that time. You know, and you know, you can argue about the story and content, but at least from my point of view, at least they're starting to do that.
Yeah.
They're starting, you know. I just wish, with all the talent that's still in the Philippines, that they would call up some of my students and say, "Oh, yeah, at least advise." You know, it's such a Manila is such a kanya-kanya world that, you know, we only want to play for our own people. I mean, I know of a lot of movies, a few movies throughout the years, but collectively together, a lot of movies where, you know, a lot of money is actually put in there to make the movie, and then they do silly things like, okay, let's complete the movie in 3 weeks. Let's hire so-and-so, who's a friend of my friend's. And it's like, I mean, I almost have to say, what kind of businessmen are you? I mean, you're putting money on the line. Don't you actually want to make money?
Yeah.
I can help you make money. You know, we can make deals. You know, I mean, I mean, are there groups that are kind of knitted together over here wanting to do stuff?
For like art and
For anything.
Like all the Filipino community is pretty tight knit here.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially like students, like the Filipino Student Association, and then our newspaper.
Yeah.
And I know we have like the association here. It's pretty tight knit. I'd say so.
Because one thing that disappointed me in like San Francisco was that.
We have lots of Filipinos there.
Yeah, but see, they don't actually talk to each other.
Oh.
See, I was brought there for the ABS to be interviewed for Adobo Nation, and the studio is beautiful. I mean, I was telling them, you know, you could shoot actual TV series here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really nice studio. And then I know some friends in the Theater Pinoy community group, and I know some people in the Philippine indie film group. And I know a lot of the Filipino artists that work for Electric Arts and ILM.
But they're all separate.
Yeah, they don't know of each other. But see, I'm looking at it as a creative, and I'm going, if I had that studio, if I had those theater groups, if I had those indie people and directors and cinematographers, if I had the community, look at all these resources, put them together, and you could make movies, you could make TV, you could make
anything.
You can make anything. Yeah.
It's true.
You could produce, and then they got broadcasting on the ABS for the cable cable networks and stuff like that. It's all in place. It's all in place. You know, it's just getting everybody together to finally do it. You know, and that takes a lot. So
For sure.
one day.
One of these days. How do we move back to your work? How do you think it's evolved, I guess? since you started out?
Well, one of the interesting things is the freedom that we're now getting. As you see over here, like over here on this side on the wall are professional artists who are working and stuff. And then over here you see a vast, huge number of artists. They're also selling their own posters, some of them are selling their own plushes, and selling their own words and selling their own art, their own work. And these are just aspiring artists. But it is very real that they can actually impress an editor or impress a producer and do something. And like a friend of mine who's an image partner right now, his name is Robert Kirkman. For years he's been drawing this zombie book, an emotional zombie book for Image called Walking Dead.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Hollywood finally gets to see it, and AMC goes, hey, can we talk about making that into a cable network show? And within a year, it gets greenlit. That's almost unheard of in Hollywood. It usually takes 3 years, 6 years. But here, because of Image, because of our enthusiasm, let me put it this way. Spider-Man took about 20 years to make, and one of the real reasons Spider-Man took 20 years to make was because Spider-Man, Marvel's lawyers, talked to Hollywood's lawyers. Now, it's not a knock against lawyers, but when lawyers talk with each other, they're actually talking past each other. They're just working for their client, but not for Spider-Man, not to get the movie made. So when Image came around and everybody wanted to talk to us, gaming, toys, animation, movies, we're all fans of those places. And so we said, no, we don't want to talk to the lawyers. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to the heads, the creatives, the directors. And that's what happened. And then when that happened, all of a sudden, things were easy. Because you had creatives talking to creatives. And if there were any problems, okay, let's work it out because we both want to work together.
Yeah.
And now it's very easy. It's so much so that, like a Robert Kirkman can come in, I think he's from North Carolina or somewhere from the East Coast, and do his book and get a call from AMC, fly over, talk with them, and sign a contract, and boom! It's, it has the largest audience of any cable show, 700,000 per show.
Wow,
per episode. And it's just a comic book. But see, Hollywood understands what we are. We are stories. Look at just right in front of you, just my stuff. These are countless stories here. Look, on every single table, there are countless other stories. Hollywood is connected at our hip because we are storytellers. And we have thousands and hundreds of millions of stories for them to pour through and say, hey, I want to do that one. And because we're creatives and we're movie fans and we're comic fans and they're comic fans, boom, it gets made. So it's a lot easier now. When I first came into the industry 25 years ago, it was
really hard.
Well, let me put it this way. When I was working for Marvel and I would go to the bank to check my cash my checks, they had little Spider-Mans on them. And then during Christmas, they had little Spider-Mans with little Santa hats. So when I'd go up to the pretty clerk, she would go, look at me like I was a little kid. Nowadays, she wants to talk with me.
Yeah.
Nowadays, she knows what comics are. Nowadays, her and everybody else, my grandmothers come up to me and want books signed for their friends and stuff. Now everybody knows comic books. Everybody knows superheroes. And so, here it is. I mean, one of the best days in my life, in my family, is I wake up one day after working for, I think I was on the X-Men, I think. And I woke up one day late as usual, and I go outside to get in my car to go to my friend's house, and my dad's washing my car.
Wow.
We don't say anything, but, I could see in his eyes that, he was proud. And then I go, wow. I could never have thought of that happening, and especially with comics. But here we are. It's now in art form and it's been accepted worldwide. Well, look, I'm here in Canada.
Yeah, this is true. You go to a lot of conventions now?
A lot, yeah.
Is this your second time to Calgary, or?
This is my second time to Calgary. The first time I think was in 2008. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we did a double thing. I've done Toronto, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
But then now the producer of Toronto did a Vancouver show last week. So he flew me over. We flew the whole family over there. Put us up till Wednesday, then flew us over here, handed us over to the producers here in Calgary, and we've been here since Wednesday, and now then we'll leave Monday.
Did your family always fly with you to your convention?
They're lucky. My parents are in the Philippines.
Oh, no.
So they usually stay with my parents, but they go with us sometimes whenever they're on break and stuff. I think they're going to go with us to Albuquerque and Phoenix and Mexico City. They just went with us last month to San Francisco. So it's become kind of a family affair. And that's another good thing. I mean, again, these conventions are really well run, and look at all the people that are here. So, I'm fortunate. I'm very, very fortunate, knock on wood, that I go to a lot of conventions around the country, in Australia, and in here, and in Europe, and Asia, and they'll fly me over, they'll put me up, they'll fly my wife over, they'll bring my kids. It's that's how good the industry is getting right now, and it's fortunate for a lot of us now have families.
Sure. I think that's most of my questions, actually.
Okay.
Is there any advice you could give maybe to some young Filipinos or youth that are trying to make it in the industry?
Don't be hiya. That's what I say. Be. The world loves us because we're polite, because we can get along with anybody, even if we don't like them. we learn pakikisama, sa atin. But I teach a lot of my students that you have to be mayabag in your head.
Just in your head.
Yeah, just in your head. You have to be confident.
Yeah.
That kaya mo, that you have the talent, that you have that. Again, look at all your Filipino friends and Filipino relatives around the world. They're all not just getting by; they're doing well. They're respected around the world. I mean, Filipinos work hard. Filipinos are creative. Filipinos are smart. It's only in the Philippines we get the man. But so I tell everybody, just be confident. Just stand up and show if you're a creative or an artist, show your work. Art is really about communicating. It's that I think of something in my head and I draw it, and then I show you. If you react the same way that I see it in my head, then I'm a successful artist. If you don't, then I have to adjust my drawings until you react the way I react. And once that happens, then you're an artist and you can do anything you want. And that goes for singing, that goes for dancing, that goes for music, that goes for anything. It's just about communicating. It's not about good or bad art, or good or bad singing, or good or bad styles. It's just about communicating. Can you communicate to the people that you want to communicate to? And the only way you're going to learn that is to stand up, to show your work. Get the hiya out of you and put that work out there. Sure, you might get bruised a little bit. Sure, you're going to get those oddball people that are just going to crazy and rat and rave and flame you. But, until you go out there and learn how to communicate, and that's the only way to learn to communicate, to show your stuff to people, only then will you become an artist. And especially in this day and time, you can have the world. You can have the world. Artists, this is the time, this is the decades for artists. And Filipinos are artists. So we should stand up and grab your piece. So stand up and show your work. Be mayabang.
Only here.
Yeah.
All right, that's everything. So
right.
Thank you very much for
thank you.
interviewing us.